My solo motorhome adventure, July 2025, part 1. I ended my last video parked up at Laggan Locks, so here we go, on from there. A couple of years ago, when we hired a boat for a week on the Caledonian Canal, this is where we started off. And that place wasn't here when the building was, but there was no cafe there. This is quite a strange affair here. There's the first set of gates where the water in the loch is the same level as the lake, loch, and there are the gates at the end of this loch or sluice. And above those gates is this loch, which when full is the same level as the canal down there. So the question is, why those set of gates down there? Well, the answer is that some of the boats that come through here have a draft which is greater than we can get over the sill behind those or under those gates. So what he does for it is he fills this basin chamber by closing those gates down there, fills that until it is the same level as the upper chamber, and then the boat can get over the sill that's down there, and once he's over the sill they let the water out from here down to the lock level and off they go. Well, it was a bit grim at Laggan Locks, so I thought, no, I'll come down a bit more life. And this is a stopover place that run by the Scottish Canals, and I'm literally right at the top, or right next to the top lock at Fort Augustus. And that's where I'm parked. You can see from the red arrow. And there are 5 chambers, 6 sets of gates, and it's a staircase locked. And there are 4 bays here, and you're only allowed, and it's £15 a night. So in a little while I shall put Muriel to work, and she can take me down to the little village. I like this place. Well, there's my chariot, Muriel. Let's go down the village. This is coming down towards the few shops on this side, and coming down towards the bottom lock. Takeaway place there. A restaurant here called Legion. Cute little Highland shop. Ripple's tea room. Lock-in. Lots of people. And a variety of establishments there. Lock full of boats going down. And they have to wait for the gates to open and then the swing bridge to open. As you can see, it's a very popular place for sightseers, and they're all waiting like me for the gate to open and the swing bridge to swing. And to see if anybody falls in. Finally, the gates are opening. Now we just have to wait for the bridge. And while I wait, I'm being kept company by a little group of sparrows. It was a long wait. I can only imagine that the delay is waiting for a bus, and whether it was that one or not, I don't know. Finally, after what seems like a very long time, the barriers are going down. making a long wait for the boats. That's it. It's on the way. And all these boats in the lock so they can go on with their holiday. And here's the first one making a move. I think they'd appreciate it if you hurried up a bit. Well, I can't get over the other side now until the other boats have come in and they close the gate, open the road again. So I'm going back up to make myself a cup of tea, and then I'll come down and go up the other side of the locks. Before I go, just watch for these couple come in here. One, and the other's following nicely close behind. That'll keep the bridge keeper happy. And that's it. There'll be a long queue either side. Very grateful to see that going round. I'm back in Gwendolyn with my mug of tea, and those boats that you saw going in to the bottom lock went in at 3:20. I'll see what the time is when they come out here at the top lock. Let's see how long it takes them to get through. I know it took us, I think it was about an hour to get through when we came on that boat that we hired. But we didn't have to wait as long for the bridge. I think they were just unlucky. While I was sitting having my tea, I was looking across the locks at that little house there. Strange, no overhang on the verge, on the eaves, and in the middle of the roof, there's a little dovecot. It reminds me of the sort of houses they used to make with Baco. Anybody old enough to remember those? It was a forerunner of Lego. You put wires into the bases and that stood up, and then you slid the bricks down. And my father bought me a big set when I was years ago. Well, those three boats have just entered the top lock sluice, and I think they come out quite quickly, I believe, because, and maybe that's just because there are three of them and not a lock full. And they're boaters that look as if they might know what they're doing. Some of them don't look like hire boats to me. In fact, one of them's a Dutch boat. The water's nearly the same level, not far off, and the button pusher's arrived, and he's pressed a button, and the gates are opening. Let go of the lines. And that is a fine looking boat. Swedish design and built. They are lovely boats. The first one through the gates, and the time is now 11 minutes past 4, so it's taken them 51 minutes. Mandy's been doing all the cooking while we've been away, but now she's headed south. I'm up here on my own, so I'm going to do my own cooking tonight, and the first thing I'm going to do is marmalade my chicken.
It's marinate, silly man.
It's what?
Marinate, not marmalade.
Is that right? All right, okay. Gonna marinate it. Is that right? Okay. I'm alone with Monty. Say hello to the camera.
Hello, camera.
So the first thing to do is slice the chicken breast. Just gonna have one. That will do. Put that in the pan there ready. I'll get my Cajun seasoning. Well, I like lots of it. That's it. And we just mix that up a little bit. A bit more on there, I think. That's nice. Good. Okay, we'll just let that marinate for a bit.
I'll get some potatoes ready for boiling.
I'm going to have that with some Scottish small potatoes and some broad beans, some of which I'm going to put on the plate to have with the meal, and others I'm going to try and experiment.
But it'll have to wait because there's something happening outside.
Well, after those 3 sailing boats went through, nothing went down because this one was following them up. A cruise liner. And her name is Lord of the Highlands. You have to look that up and find out a bit about her. And I'll bet it's an expensive ride. And some of the cabins have actually got their own balconies. Look.
Well, I looked her up and she's
Wow.
43 metres long, got 19 cabins, and the staff guest ratio is 1 to 2. And if you want to ride on her, 2 people for 7 days from £4,480 per person.
No, it's not the bit along the side, that's the bow thruster.
Well, she's certainly a nice looking vessel, and just down the way there she moored for the night to let the passengers who were paying all that money to wander down where I've just been with Muriel. Anyway, back on Muriel and go and have a look a bit more now that they can get across the bridge.
Once you come through the locks and you're down on Loch Ness, this is where you can berth for the night, which is what we did. Along here somewhere and out there into Loch Ness itself. There's a lovely old ketch. And she's the Bessie Ellen out of Plymouth. Beautiful.
But go on now, I'm hungry. Let's go and cook.
Right, time to get cooking. So the first thing to do is put the potatoes on to boil. Let that water heat up, come to the boil, and then I'll start doing the chicken. Well, those are boiling away nicely now, so I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. And I have in here the beans that I'm going to have with the meal, which I shall heat up in there later on. But in the meantime, I'm going to start doing the chicken, getting the chicken ready. So the first thing I'm going to do is take it all out and put it on there so that I can heat up the oil. Right, now I'll get some oil in there. Some oil in there. Okay, we'll heat that up and then we'll get the chicken started, and I can warm that up again later on when the potatoes are ready. But these potatoes, I don't know how long they're going to take, so probably about 15 minutes, but we'll see. Right, that little oil looking nice and warm now, so spread it around a bit and put those back in there and spread them about so they get cooked nicely all the way around, and just flip them over. Oh, that's looking good. And if you could smell it, the Cajun, oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Right, well, I've turned these a couple of times, and I think that's enough. Now we've got to wait for the potatoes, so I'm going to turn this gas off and just let them settle there for a minute or two, because we have what have we got? 7.5 minutes left before I put the beans in there. But before I put the beans in, I shall just check the potatoes. Well, there goes the timer. Now we'll stop the timer, check the potatoes. Oh yeah, yep, really nearly ready. That's amazing. Okay, so we put the broad beans in there, and that will come back up to the boil, and then we'll be ready to go. And there we have it, Michael's Cajun with broad beans and potatoes meal. I'm looking forward to that. Now, was that good, or was that good? Empty plate. When I've finished washing up, we're going to try this experiment with the broad beans. I'll go on with the washing up. Well, here's the experiment. A few nights ago, or a few days ago, Mandy picked up a pack of nibbles, and in the nibbles was something which I couldn't recognise it at all, and it was turned out to be salted, roasted broad beans. So I looked up and watched several videos on how to do it, well, basically it was roasting, but I don't want to spend that much gas on trying to roast a handful of these things, so I'm going to try it a different way. But one of the things that all the videos neglected to mention was that really, to do this properly, you really need a wee dram of Bushmills whiskey, which is not very good to say that, actually, because Bushmills is actually Irish and a wee dram is Scottish. So, but I'm going to have a Scottish wee dram of Irish whiskey, and that because it's extremely boring and not too much. That's it, fine. It's extremely boring because you have to take the skin off all the beans individually. And so with the help of a wee dram, I'm going to start. And you have to really a very laborious exercise. It would have been better actually if I hadn't dried them out so much that because they're a little bit very wet, dry now. And then when they're in, you divide them in half, like that, to split them. Oh, let's start another one. And I hope these turn out as nicely as the ones that I tasted the other night. I'm really into the swing of it now. Just look, see, that's it. They come out, yeah, quite well really. Alright, so I now have a bowl full of peels or skins and a plate full of halved broad beans. Now, the videos that I've seen, or some of them say, you have to let those dry out. Well, I haven't got time. I've got to move on from here tomorrow because you only had one night, and I've got a campsite booked anyway. So, no, never mind the drying out. I should just have to see what happens. So, this stage, I'm going to take some olive oil. If I can find my nearly empty bottle, I might empty that onto there. Load of it. Right, that's it. Lovely, 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 lovely. I don't know whether it needs that much or not, but the bottle was nearly empty, so might as well use it all. And I'm going to heat that up. Quite hot, I think. So we'll leave that to heat up for a minute. Oh, well, I think that oil now would be pretty hot. So I'm going to now, I was going to use a wok for this, but I haven't got a wok with me, so I'm just going to send those in there. Oh, they're sizzling nicely. I don't know what that means, but they are. And I'll spin them about, and then I'm going to give it a good loading of salt and see what comes of that. So just keep them on the move until they turn brown, hopefully. I don't know, maybe I'll put too much oil in there, but one of the people actually deep fried them. So this is the sort of almost deep frying. It's spitting a little bit. Let's see if we can make them go brown. Seems like an awful lot of effort for a tiny little snack. But if it tastes alright, it will be worth it. I think that's about as far as I'm going to take them. So now I need to get some paper and put those on the paper. Get some paper. And now turn the gas off. I'm going to put those onto there. Oh, some of them, they're burnt now. They're only supposed to go brown. Overdone them a bit, haven't I? Now we'll see what those are like. Right, now we'll see what they're like. I think it's a shame that I did overdid them a bit. But the ones that are not overdone, good. Tastes like nuts, just like they're supposed to. They're definitely in the wok, and don't take them too far.
And that's it. The next day I set off heading east from this really lovely parking place, stop overnight. So thanks very much for watching this one, and I hope you'll come back and find out what I did when I headed east. So thanks for watching, and as always, BFN, bye for now.